What if I were to ask you for $1 million, what city is generally known as the rodeo capital of Texas? And I gave you the options of Fort Worth, San Antonio, Mesquite, or Houston. What would your answer be? Well, the correct answer, believe it or not, is actually Mesquite. And it's incredibly convenient and totally not planned that we're gonna talk about Mesquite today. We're gonna talk about Mesquite's history, what it's like to live in the city. We're also gonna talk about affordability, employment, the lifestyle, and real estate. And we're also gonna take this opportunity to compare Mesquite versus the other cities in the DFW Metroplex, because I really wanna cover everything that you need to know about Mesquite, Texas. Mesquite is located directly east of Dallas, and it used to be the easternmost city in the Metroplex. However, that has quickly changed given the growth of the Metroplex. Mesquite's access to the rest of the DFW area is quite strong, in fact. You have Interstate 30 on the northern part of the city running east to west. You have Interstate 635 traversing right through the center, north to south. You also have Highway 80 running through the center of the city. And towards the south, you have access to Interstate 20. Now, if you're trying to get to Fort Worth to visit the Fort Worth Botanic Garden, it's going to take you about 45 minutes. And if you need to get to Dallas to check out the zoo, that's going to take you about 20 minutes. Now, if you need to get to the DFW International Airport to catch a flight, you're looking at 35 minutes. Now, I share these travel times so you have an understanding of what commute looks like in the DFW area, especially to these heavily frequented locations such as Fort Worth and Dallas and the airport, because at one point or another, you're going to find yourself going there anyway. But to give you a more day-to-day feel on the traffic and commute, check out how far you can travel within 30 minutes away from Mesquite. You're essentially covering the eastern part of the DFW Metroplex within 30 minutes of Mesquite. So now that you know where in the world Mesquite, Texas even is, I want to welcome you to the DFW Homeowner YouTube channel, the go-to real estate channel for the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. My name is Jaime Resendez, your local realtor and team leader, able to help you make money in real estate, whether you're buying or selling. And we're on a mission to reach every DFW homeowner. So if you can hit that like button, it's going to really help us out. All right, so let's get back to Mesquite, because this is what you came for. Mesquite is located in Dallas County and was first established by the state in the Pacific Railway in 1873. However, the city of Mesquite wasn't officially incorporated until 1887, which at the beginning had a very modest growth given the agriculture focus. But fast forwarding to present day, Mesquite is home to over 140,000 residents and is a thriving suburban community, which we also need to make note that a premier attraction to the city is the Mesquite Championship Rodeo, which is a nationally televised event and is a big deal in the rodeo community. So to add some context to Mesquite and compare it to other cities in the area, I want to introduce niche.com, which interprets millions of public data sets to be able to compare cities to each other. And as you can see, Mesquite received a B grade from Niche, having aggregated these 12 categories you see on the screen, which, as we know, an algorithm can only take us so far, so we need to see what current and past residents are saying about Mesquite. And after 524 reviews later, we see that Mesquite received a 4 out of 5 stars. Now, this Mesquite report is quite extensive, so you're going to want to check out the link that I dropped down below so you can explore every single category and so you can read all of the reviews to your heart's content. Because now we're going to start talking about some fun stuff. We're going to talk trails, parks, activities, events, recreation. We're covering what that looks like in Mesquite. From a parks perspective, you certainly have options all across the city. It doesn't matter where you're living. And from a trails perspective, Mesquite also gives you options. It gives you miles and miles of trail to choose from all across the city. And from an events perspective, if you like that community feel where you get to meet your neighbors in your community, Mesquite has plenty of options for you there as well. Now, if you're an adult and need to get your steps in, you can do basketball, football, indoor volleyball, soccer, tennis, and more. All right, so now we need to talk about one of the most important requirements for every homeowner, which is the school system. Because regardless if you have kids or not, the school system matters. Number one, there's property taxes that you're paying into the system, and that's going to dictate how much you pay in property taxes. And second, it can impact your resale value of your home. Mesquite ISD covers the communities of Mesquite, Garland, Botch Springs, as well as areas of the city of Dallas, which is presently serving over 38,000 students across 52 campuses. Now, if class size is important to you, know that Mesquite ISD has 15:1 students per teacher ratio, which is right on par with the state average. And if experience is important to you, 85% of the teachers have at least 3 or more years of experience, which is 1% better than the state average. Now, as a real estate agent, there's certain things that I'm not able to cover when it comes to schools. So I'm going to leave a full report down below for you to check out Mesquite ISD. But something that I'm very able to cover is the Chick-Fil-A situation. Is there a Chick-Fil-A in Mesquite? And I'm pleased to inform that Mesquite has 2 Chick-Fil-A's, one in the mall and one as a standalone. All right, so I'm only half joking. Yes, Chick-fil-A is important, but I understand that it's not as important for everyone else. So we need to start talking about something that is important, which is real estate. Because regardless if you're a renter or a homeowner, real estate impacts your quality of life. So let's start off from a macro perspective. The typical home value of homes in Mesquite is $295,888. Now this value is seasonally adjusted and only includes the middle price tier of homes. Now brace for this, Mesquite home values have gone up 29.1% over the past year. That is not a typo. In fact, it's actually one of the highest percentage changes all across the DFW area. And as you can see, the last 10 years have gone up, but just not as drastic as what happened between 2021 and 2022. And now that we know that the median home value in Mesquite is $296,000, now we need to take that number and compare it to its neighboring cities so we have an idea of where it stands against its neighbors. Now the median home value for its neighbor up north, Garland, is $322,000. Sunnyvale's median home value is $645,000. Forney's is $383,000. Botch Springs is $252,000. Seagoville is $290,000, and the median home value for Dallas is $337,000. So as you can see, Mesquite's median home value is actually on the lower end of the spectrum. In fact, it's one of the most affordable cities across the DFW Metroplex. So up until now, you've only seen some numbers on the screen. To give you a better feel of what $296,000 buys you in Mesquite, I'm going to show you the homes that are available for sale right now in that median home value range. So by the time you're watching this video, chances are those homes have already been sold. So to give you a more up-to-date current list of preferred homes in Mesquite, check out the link in the description. And to give you a good idea of what the monthly mortgage payment is going to be on those houses, check out this video right here, which is mandatory viewing for all of my out-of-state clients because property taxes in the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex are on the higher end. But remember, there's no state income tax here in Texas, so that's a great trade-off, which is a great lead-in to the next subject, which is the cost of living in Mesquite. Overall, the cost of living in Mesquite is 1.5% less expensive than the national average. On groceries, expect to pay 3.3% less. For housing, it's actually 20% less compared to the national average. On utilities, you're paying 0.8% more. And on transportation, you can expect to pay over 23% higher than the national average. So at this point, if you're thinking, Jaime, Mesquite is the city for me, I want to live there. Well, if that's you, check out our contact information down below to get connected with our top realtors. However, if you're still on the fence, that's okay too. I want to give you 2 comparable cities to consider. I want you to check out Garland, and then I also want you to take a look at Seagoville.